In our last episode, we had a stonking sail out to the Stonehaven anchorage on Hook Island in the Whitsundays. We swam just off the boat with the cutest green turtle, and we hiked up to a beautiful waterfall which was just so refreshing after a hard day's work. Okay, so we had a check of the weather this morning, and it looks as if this little tropical cyclone, well, it hasn't yet turned into one, but it's going to possibly be one by Monday. Give us a bit of a visit with a bit of a touch up. So we're moving to a safer place out into the mangroves. We're going to tuck ourselves up there and hopefully keep nice and safe. We looked at the weather at 3 o'clock and it looked like the eye was going to be coming over about 90 k's north of us, so it's pretty close, a little bit too close for comfort for us, so we're going to snuggle up. Anyway, I'm just going to get the mooring lines or some of the ropes out that we're going to head up into Tropical Bay fairly shortly. This is called Tropical Bay, and if you tucks up and around that way and tucks up also over here, and you can go up into the mangroves. So this is where we're going to tuck away from the weather that's approaching. That looks nice and long. And you cover yourself head to foot in sunscreen. I mean, phew, this stuff. Because insects is what you got up here. Okay. So it's all very tight in here, pretty shallow. We've had to come in on a high tide, and you sort of stick to the right hand side and then we hook around to the left up the end there. So I can see there's some people already up here. We wanted to get further up, but we might not be able to. So it looks like the guy in front on the cat has already set his lines, so no one can get past him, unfortunately. Anyway, we shall make do. Beautiful out here. Beautiful. And Darren's just pulling us into the mangroves there. We've come into this bay here, Tropical Bay, and right up into these mangroves here. I hope we don't end up on land. That wouldn't be any good. So Darren's just checking the depth. With the depth sounder, we want to find the deepest hole that we can to park in. We're currently in 3.1 metres. The tide has just turned, so we've lost a bit of depth, but he's going to go off and see where we are. And we're just letting the girls settle in. These are the mangroves. It's amazing what they'll hold on to. So you drive the tender right in as far as you can to the mangroves and We've tried to go into what seems to be the most dense point of the mangroves because the weather's going to come from this side. So we've tried to pick the densest area of mangroves to protect us, and also the strongest looking one, the healthiest looking ones. These suckers really glue themselves to the ground. Alright? You can do it, baby! Reverse Darren style. Here's Darren's just checking to see if he can get the dinghy in. Woohoo! Power up, buddy. Not so good. Okay. Here he goes, here he goes. Charge, honey. Yeah, so check out this view. I mean, this is where we are. It's just gorgeous. All this bushland around us. And as you can see, the hills are quite high, so that's protecting us. And the fact that when low tide, because the tides are about 3 metre drops, so we're currently sitting up level with the mangroves, but when the tide goes down, we are actually right down, sitting at the very bottom of those mangroves, so we're very well protected in here. And as you can see, we're quite sort of tucked in quite closely. And this is the view, it's just gorgeous. Okay, so as you can see, we are well and truly embedded into the mangroves here. It's actually a beautiful day, even though we are expecting some pretty bad weather, but might not come till might be alright tomorrow, and then I think Monday, Tuesday it might be a bit nasty, but it's beautiful here in the mangroves. It was about blowing, coming on for 30s when we left, and we've got about 9-10 knots here, so just gorgeous. So we're just going to take away all the stuff from underneath the bimini, tie down, lash down everything on board, and take away the things off deck that don't need to be on deck, and tie up the headsail and then double up on the lines, and we should be right. See how we go. Okay, so I just thought that I would show you the weather that we're expecting. This is Tropical Cyclone Debbie, and she's turned into a fairly big system. She's been pulling in wind from over the top and then down south, and she's built up quite nicely. As you can see, she's got quite a nice little core building there. So we are located pretty much here. And this map is a forecast for tonight and tomorrow. So we expect that she will cross. We're not sure whether she's going to cross right above us. I did see that at one forecast that the eye will come over us. And I did see another forecast where she will sort of clip slightly above us. Either way, as you can see, the winds are pretty strong and they will remain strong. Anything in the red and the purple is pretty horrendous. So we're expecting to have a fairly ragey night and very intense morning. So yeah, that's Tropical Cyclone Debbie. What do you think, my honey?
Well, I think we're going to get wet, and I think we're going to get a bit of a serious blow. I think Debbie's going to give us a bit of a touch-up. Anyway, we're all tucked in nice and safe here, so we'll be pretty good.
Okay, so day 2 in the mangroves, hiding from what has now become Tropical Cyclone Debbie. And it's all going pretty good actually. We are very well protected from the wind in here, and you can hear it roaring all around us. And we're actually only getting a little bit of breeze down here, but we're actually sitting down in the bottom of the mangroves. As the tide goes down lower, of course we lower down a bit. So yeah, we're nicely tucked away. But we're expecting that the eye of the cyclone is going to pass about 20 or so nautical miles above us, and that probably comes through in the wee hours of the morning. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a windy old night, but hopefully okay for us. Yeah, so that's our update. We'll check in with you later on. Okay, so we just thought we would take you through how we decided that we were going to come here to this place to shelter from this cyclone, Tropical Cyclone Debbie. And yeah, just run through a few things that we've done as far as safety on board in preparation for this big storm. So first of all, the one thing that we took into consideration was to pick a really good spot. So for us, we wanted to find a bay that was sheltered from the southeasterly, which is going to be the main wind, the direction of the wind that's coming for us now, although it's swirling around from all over the place at the moment. And we wanted to find a place that had lots of mangroves and a creek that we could get up as far as we could. So, and Darren's actually been here before.
Yeah, look, I've chose this spot because it's extremely protected, and even though it's very tidal and shallow, there is places where you can get up, and it's quite deep once you get inside. So on a low tide, we still float, and you know, if we touch the bottom, it's mud, so it's not really a concern. But also, it's the creek's quite narrow, so you get to you're really boxed in, so you get a lot of shelter, and it's quite easy to tie some lines up to the mangroves to get a nice hold on everything.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because earlier on we went across to the other side, the southern arm, and there's a chap over there, and he's had to tie off at one point. His lines, the distance is just so huge, his lines wouldn't reach across, so he's actually not in a very sheltered position. So as snug as you can get it, good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So also, when we tied off, we've tied off about 10 lines around the boat, on both sides of the boat, and we've tied off at the mangroves at a high point. We came in on the high tide, obviously, and the reason we've done the high point is because when the tide goes down, we've got about 3.7 metre drop, haven't we?
Yeah, just at this point in time, but all our lines are up nice and high, so any trash that comes down, because there will be quite a bit,
big logs and whatnot.
Yeah, it'll hopefully most of that stuff will just go under the lines, and it won't create a problem for us.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we haven't actually dropped our anchor. We didn't want a big log or something snagging on the anchor and then bashing into the bow of the boat. A few of the other boats down the stream from us have got their anchors down, so yeah, I don't know. What do you do? Yeah,
look, I guess it's a personal opinion what you do, and every scenario is different, so I can't say what's right or wrong there, but it's what you feel comfortable with, and we're fairly well tied off, and we just sort of figured that something attached to the bottom. It's just another sprag point, really. So we decided not to, and at this point in time, well, we'll let you know tomorrow. We'll see how we fared up, but yeah, that's what we've done at this point in time, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we did next is, after we'd secured the boat, we took every removable item off the deck that we could and stowed it down below here, and then we lashed down the main, we lashed down the solar panels, we tied off the furler, and we disconnected and tied off the wind gen. We took off all the fenders and the life ring, and what else do we do?
That covers pretty much the majority of it. Yeah, anything that's a possible projectile.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to keep it, it's probably better to
tie it down.
Tie it down or take it off.
Yeah.
If you get a direct hit from these big storms, the power is just quite unbelievable. So it's better to be on the safer side and overkill.
Yeah, we haven't taken our cockpit clears down at the moment because the storm isn't due to hit until tonight. We've been here for 2-3 days, and so it's been nice to actually not be cooped down below the whole time. We've had that extra living space, so we'll take the clears down and the mozzie screens down later on when the wind gets really intense. Yeah. So the next thing we did is we disconnected all the non-essential electronics, and the reason we did this is because we weren't sure whether there would be lightning about, and in that case we don't really want to lose our gear. So disconnected from the battery, the HF, the chart plotter,
autopilot, and the radar.
And the radar. Yeah.
We figured we're not moving if things got really bad and we were to break loose, well, we're probably going to end up in a big pile down the end of the creek there somewhere. So we figure we're probably not going to be needing any electronic devices. So we just thought, well, we'll, just on the off chance, it's pretty rare, but it does happen. Yeah,
we've kept the fridge obviously and the lights, and the solar panels are connected because we do need to keep our power running, and we've got the VHF radio on. One thing that we have done with the other, there's another 3 boats up here, and we've created a bit of a radio net with them on one of the lesser used channels on the VHF radio, so we're just keeping in contact with each other. It's great, keeps up the morale, and we update each other with any weather advisors that we hear or any sort of stories that we hear from people from land.
Yeah, some of the guys down further, we've sort of been getting a tiny little bit of internet, so we can sort of keep updated pretty easily with just on the net with our weather. So we've been keeping some of the guys down further updated. So yeah, it's all very good.
Yeah. Then the next step was to cook up a big feed, so I cooked up a big curry, so we've got that sorted out. If we were out on the ocean in a storm, I'd actually sort of have lunches prepped as well, so that we can keep our food going. But here, you know, the storm's really only going to be a one-night banger. So I've just cooked up a big feed and keep us going. And then we've prepped our wet weather gear. We've been wearing it, obviously. But depends on the strength of the cyclone. I think she's going to cross as a Cat 4.
Which is quite up there. Like the prediction is that it's only going to land about 20 miles up the coast from us, so it's not that far away, and that's if it lands where they say it is, and you know there's a lot of variation there. So
fairly strong winds and horizontal rain. That's what I experienced in my last cyclone, which was a Cat 5, so another degree higher. But it really hurts when it hits you. You know, if for example you want to go out and check if there's any chafe on your lines, which, you know, I don't know if you're going to do it or not, but it's smashing you in the face and it's smashing you in the legs and it really hurts. So I actually learnt the trick of putting my mask on from my snorkeling gear, which protects my eyes, and my head torch, and wearing a wetsuit, because it keeps you warm even though you're wet. So a lot of people do that, but I don't really think we're going to be going out on deck here. But anyway, get your wet weather gear and your head torches ready, and try the mask thing out. It might help you out if you're ever in this situation. Darren thinks I'm a complete nutcase.
Well, look, sometimes you need everything that you got going. Because, generally, in a worst case scenario, you nearly can't go out there. It's so bad. In my experience, but if you have to, well, you better go prepared, because it's going to be messy.
Yeah, and the last thing is we prepped our grab bag. Well, we don't actually think we're going to be needing to abandon ship in this situation, but it's always a good idea to check it out and make sure you've got all your gear ready, and that your flares are in date, and you've got water and something to drink, and you've got your meds if you need your meds, and your wallet and your boat documents, and you've obviously... Did I say flares?
Yeah, you did.
I did say flares, so that's good. And a space blanket and some good shoes. See, we'd have to try and bash through some pretty thorny mangroves to get anywhere out of here. But you never know.
Yeah, you'd be better off with shoes, that's for sure.
So just to get your grab bag and everything ready. Just make sure. You never know. So that's about what we've done, and I think we've probably got about 10 hours or so until the crux of the storm hits, so fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We'll keep you updated. Look at all these leaves. Well, I'm lying here in the aft cabin and things are pretty comfy. It's sometime around midnight and the wind's really started kicking in. We're getting a few ferocious bursts come through. Sarean's just
sitting nicely on her lines. She is tugging a wee bit, and she is getting pushed over a bit too, but things are generally pretty comfortable. And I think we're just gone past high tide, so we are at our most exposed point, and soon we'll be, well, in another, I think it's about 4:30, I think we're back down to low tide again, so we'll be snuggled away again. So yeah, not too bad at the moment.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our video. Links to the music in this video are in the description below, so please check them out. If you like this video, please share, it really helps us out, and subscribe to follow along on our adventures. We love to hear from you, so please chat with us and ask any questions in the comments box below. Until next time, we send our love and wish you happy, happy days. Ciao for now.